We never really were introduced. My name's Terry.
Recording from. Hi, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Racers News Network. Going to be kind of a brief show tonight. Pete is working on the race car, getting all set to go for the divisional this coming weekend at Lebanon Valley. Said he's making some progress and he doesn't want to slow down and impede his progress because then he'll want to go home and go to bed, which he's due to do in about an hour anyways.
I already want to go home and go to bed. That was about 3 hours ago.
That was about 3 hours ago. So what's going on, my friend?
Same old stuff. How about you?
Pretty much. Survived the torrential downpours of New England Dragway this past weekend. That was kind of a pisser.
Definitely sucked.
It was funny because my wife was like, "Why do you want to go on what's going to be the hottest day of the year?" Like, I'd much rather go when it's going to be hot when it's going to be cold.
Right.
And as we all know, Mother Nature kind of bit everything in the backside this weekend.
Yeah. Now, did they only run one pro session on Friday?
Yeah, and like 95% of them blew the tires right off.
Saw that. Yeah, I watched the qualifying show. I can't say like I turned it on and paid attention completely, but I did see like no funny cars. Oh, excuse me, and like 4 or 5 dragsters remotely made it down.
Yeah, I was down at the top end taking pictures of them on the return road, and yeah, more than half the field idled by me while I was down there. Which,
right. It's so hard. Like even the sportsman guys. How much useful information do you get when your time trials are 90+ degrees and your eliminations are, maybe in the 60s? Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like, I was out cruising around in the pits, and I'm talking. I'm lucky. I know at least one person in pretty much every class.
Right.
And they're all the gist of it was, yeah, okay, we're making hits, but it's, again, it was 94, 96 degrees, whatever, on Friday, and then when they were going to start eliminations Saturday, I don't believe, I could be wrong, I don't believe it cracked the 60s though.
Yeah, no, I think it was supposed to if the rain held out.
Yeah.
I think they were hoping on a little bit of sun poking through the skies and it hitting 60, 62, but a conservative number is 30 degrees difference, and that's a big difference. You can't say you're getting a hit at the tree because 30 degrees difference, your car's making a lot more power. It's coming out of the beams different. It's that was just a crappy thing. Like I said on the page today, you think about money invested, time invested. Even the vendors, right? The vendors that go there hoping to have at least 2 out of the 3 days and making a good weekend out of it. You don't even have to mention the track. Obviously they're depending on a certain amount of income from the weekend. The pro teams that drove all the way the frig up here for one pass, and now they're gonna, they stood around for 3 days. Now they're gonna be down in Bristol in a mad friggin' thrash. They're gonna make up for the 3 days they stood around up here. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna make. I honestly didn't look at the schedule for Bristol.
I don't
know how many sessions they have. I'm assuming at least 2, probably 3 for the pro guys. So you figure that plus 4 rounds of eliminations for the regular race, plus 4 rounds of eliminations for New England.
Well, I will say this, and I could be way off base here. It would not surprise me if they qualify the cars off of that one time shot and their first time trial that they come out of the trailer on Friday is going to be the elimination round for Epic.
Well, they did release a schedule. Of course, it'd be a matter of me digging back through to find what it was.
Yeah.
I'll do that while we're talking. But they did release a schedule of how it's all gonna go together, and I think again, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe that qualifying, it's going to be, you against me, because that's what we were coming out of New England,
Right.
and just continue to carry over from there. Oh, here we go. Let's see, Friday, June 9th, Bristol qualifying session 1 will count for just qualifying.
Okay.
Bristol qualifying session 2 will count towards Bristol qualifying and also be round 1 of Epic.
So they're going to give them one shot off the trailer, and then everything
Right
after that is going to be eliminations.
Saturday the 10th, Bristol qualifying session 3 will count towards Bristol qualifying and also be round 2.
Round 2, right? And then so
Of
on.
Epping.
So forth,
Yeah. Semis for Epping will run after the 3rd qualifying session, will not count towards qualifying.
Right.
Bristol qualifying session 4 will count towards Bristol qualifying and also be obviously the finals.
Right.
For Epping.
Right.
They're going to be making a hell of a lot of passes that weekend in those things.
Yeah, well, some of them are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on how far you go. Could you imagine if the same team or teams wins the Epping race and the Bristol race?
Oh, I know.
How many runs they're going to have? Their crew guys' knuckles are going to be dragging on the ground. They're going to be so tired.
I was going to say, they're going to need a vacation after next weekend.
Yeah, no
doubt. But yeah, like I said, the only winner this past weekend was Mother Nature.
Yeah.
There was some video that came out from one of the Super Comp. I believe it was round 1 of Super Comp when 2 cars went down. One was Patty Herwig, and I can't recall the name of the other young lady, but they had a little bit of Tokyo drift action going on at about left track, and so that was kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I don't like to fault NHRA, and I don't like to fault the track. I mean, you know that. But at some point, I mean, there were a lot of drivers that were at the end of the track that said it was misting. I mean, I understand the desperation to make runs and get the event in, but I mean, in my opinion, there's got to be someone at both ends of the track, and if there's any precipitation in the air whatsoever, they got to pull the plug on it. Now, the people that were at the end of the track, they said they felt it misting. Did they really feel it misting? I don't know. I mean, I have a tough time believing that NHRA would send cars down the track knowing there's precipitation in the air, but again, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it was a suck weekend all around.
No, it was terrible. I mean, even if the sun came out yesterday, with the amount of water that track took on for 2.5 days, I can't imagine that track surface would have been any good for Monday.
Well, that was like when I contacted you and asked you, that was the first thing I said. What are the chances of, with the amount of rain, maybe not a whole lot, but being stretched out over such a long period of time over, 3-4 days, what are the chances of, the rubber coming?
There's definitely a lot of factors that go into it. And even each track, if you took the same situation and went from track to track, it might yield different results. Some tracks drain better. It all depends on the ground underneath them. Is it rock? Is it sand? Is it, I mean, it's just,
A million and 47 different factors.
yeah. And it's even like if the sun comes out, that percolates the water. Whereas if you just have cloud cover and a little bit of wind, that'll dry the track a lot better. So it's, there's a ton of factors that go into it. I can't say, if a certain thing happened, Epping would be good, but Lebanon Valley might not be, or vice versa. It's like a situation by situation basis.
Right. Couple of things I wanted to throw at you. One, can you kind of delve into the original withdrawal procedure and how they did that for New England?
Sure.
And then fast forward a little bit after that into, okay, people are at the track, because we know we have a couple of mutual friends that
Right.
were there, and they gave them the chance to split, and they said, yeah, we're out of here. So those two things.
The regular policy is I sign up for Super Street, or sign up for anything, but me particularly Super Street. I think it's noon California time, the Monday before the event. You're allowed to withdraw, and you get a credit that's good for 1 year. All right, for the full, I'm pretty sure it's the full amount. This year, or whenever they suspect weather coming, NHRA extends that. And again, I don't understand the people that like to piss and moan and complain, but NHRA waived that deadline and said, Wednesday, Thursday, the weather's looking really crappy. We won't hold it till the noon on Monday thing. If you want to withdraw Wednesday, if you want to withdraw Thursday, same thing applies. Now, I misread it at one point, and I thought they were going to actually give you your money back. I think for the driver in car, same situation, they were going to give you a credit. If you had crew passes, I think they were going to give you the money back for that. But again, I didn't have any. I withdrew from this race because my car wasn't ready. But I didn't buy any crew tickets yet, so it didn't apply to me. So I didn't pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to it.
Right.
The one thing that I did pay attention to were the people pissing and moaning about they want sportsman racers to withdraw because they don't care about the sportsman racers. And it's like, if you're the big wig at NHRA, you got to look at the complaints that people make and say, we can't win, right? If we stayed on our noon Monday deadline, knowing that crappy weather was coming in, and we didn't give people the opportunity to withdraw, we suck and we don't care about sportsman races. If we let them withdraw right up until the event starts, it's because we don't want them there and we suck and we don't like sportsman races. It's like, literally, what could they possibly do short of go to everyone's house and shake their hand and tell them that they love them? I don't know what they could do to keep the masses happy. I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, if I was in charge at NHRA, I don't know how long it would be before I threw the towel in, because it's just so stupid. I just don't get it. But they also, throughout the event, told them that they could withdraw. I mean, they gave plenty of options, and I think ultimately when they canceled it, it was the regular withdrawal procedure anyway. So, I mean, could they have said, listen, you guys made a time trial, some of you made first round? I mean, they could have done it a lot crappier. And they really could have pissed people off if they truly didn't care about sportsman racers. But to me, they absolutely did the best that they could do. And I can't see how they could have done it any differently.
Right. Yeah, one of the messages I got from one of the competitors there was, this was on Saturday afternoon. Just had the drivers meeting, no the specific class for today. If we can't get it on tomorrow, we'll take it on a credit. If they can get it in tomorrow, we don't show up, we take the loss.
Right.
That was apparently just for top dragster, top sportsman, and super gas at that time. I'm assuming it changed because I didn't hear anything else back.
Right. Well, they couldn't get it. So they have to run one round of eliminations if they're going to not give someone credit. And it sounded like those are the three classes that didn't have round one, maybe. I mean, I know I pay attention to Super Street, and I know they had round one. I really don't know about the rest of the classes, but
yeah, because I know one of the classes, top dragster, the person that messaged me was going to run, ended up having a bye if they stayed because the other person packed up and
couldn't stay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, let's face it, especially with a national event, although this is a shorter national event than most. But I mean, most people get there on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
They stack on Wednesday, they get in on Thursday and park and tech and all that BS, and they start racing on Friday. So,
Yeah.
You know, for them to possibly run on Monday or Tuesday, not everyone could do that. So,
right. You figure between. Well, we'll start off automatically with the two races. You have Bristol coming up this weekend.
right.
You have the divisional at Lebanon Valley coming up this weekend. So you got the national event crew that has to go that way.
Right.
And then you have the divisional crew going, literally the opposite direction.
Sure.
It has their jobs to do to prep the track and do whatever the hell else they need to do while they're there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a screwy situation.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a shame for people that count on the revenue. Like even me, if my car was together, I really only have the opportunity to run one national event a year, and this is the one.
Right.
So for me to go 2 years without racing a national event, it sucks. I don't have the ability to go to Maple Grove, A, because school starts, and B, they don't have Super Street there. So it's, a lot of people, I don't want to say depend on it, because obviously life goes on and no one's going to go bankrupt because this event didn't take off, but it affects a lot of people in a lot of ways, and it sucks that it happens. And, along the same lines of the people that aren't happy no matter what NHRA does, I'm going to address the white elephant in the room. The people that don't like what we post on our page, when you're logged on to RNN and you're reading a post, in the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 little dots, okay? You could click those dots and you could get the hell out. If you don't like what we're doing, if you don't agree with what we're doing, we will gladly take constructive criticism whenever anyone has it, through a private message, a phone call, whatever it takes. But if you think you're going to get on our page on one of our comments and start blasting us because you don't agree with what we're doing, get out. Just get it. We're not even going to boot you because we don't care enough about you to boot you. You should just boot yourself because you're in a place where you don't want to be. So leave. It's really that simple. If I came over your house and you didn't want me over your house, I'd leave. Simple. All we did was post updates about what we knew. And Chris, I got to tell you, you spend a boatload of time dedicating to keeping everyone updated and informed. Way more time than I could even think about dedicating. Couldn't even fathom the amount of time that you spend getting your updates, posting them, letting everybody know. And I myself, as often as you and I talk, which is very often, I wanted to know what was going on at Epping. I didn't even message you. I would just log on to the RNN page and see your latest update just to know what was going on, because you were on it and you were updating so often. And listen, if you don't like the updates because your feelings are hurt, so be it. We can't do anything about that. All we could do is tell you what's going on. you're in touch with racers that are at the track, you're in touch with personnel that's at the track, and you're simply reporting what either you're seeing with your own eyes by being there on Friday, or what people are relaying to you on Saturday, Sunday, and in this case, Monday. Nothing was made up, right? None of us were happy that the event wasn't going off. It was anything but. It's the exact opposite of happy. I don't understand the people that, like seeing certain things fail. I don't. I never have been. You obviously aren't. I don't know. I don't get it. But if there's anything on our page that upsets you, you have two options. Reach out to Chris or I, and we'll try and make it better, or take your criticism or leave. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier.
And I personally would like to address one other part of that, is that if anybody thinks that we're bagging on a specific track, that's not true. Everything that went on this past week with the updates about the weather is going to happen this coming weekend at Lebanon Valley. As much as I like Lebanon Valley, as the weather sucks,
Yep.
I'm going to put the weather sucks. It's raining.
Yeah. I mean, I just, why anyone would think that either you or I would have ulterior motives to wish bad luck on a track or take joy out of something not being successful. I don't know. I don't know whatever gave anyone the impression that we were like that, or why we would do. I have no idea. I don't know what goes through people's heads, but it's the same thing with the people that are mad at NHRA. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're never going to make everyone happy. You get 10 people together and you won't get all 10 of them to agree on what color grass is. So you're sure as hell not going to get 10,000 people to agree on what you and I are saying. What bothers me is the people that think that we take joy out of an event or a track not being successful. I don't know how we ever led on to even thinking about something like that, or what gave people the impression that we were like that. But there's a select few that makes the most noise. We all know that. But all we care about is the sport and the venues that host the sport. That's what we care about.
I will close this little BS session of this part of our show with saying this. If anybody thinks for a minute, if I put something stupid or unfactual or whatever, that he will not call me out on it.
Oh God.
We have been doing this together for almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've gotten much better. I don't have a filter. I don't play politics. I will tell you what the blankety blanket score is. But if I put something up that's just flat out dumb, this dude right here, guaranteed my phone will be ringing within minutes of it being on the page.
There's a reason why he made me an admin on the page, so I could just delete stuff.
Yeah, so you can delete some of the stupid things I do.
Guys, we're not perfect. All right. We don't do this for a living. We're not the people that you see on ESPN. Our main objective is to talk about the sport that we love, highlight people that are good at doing it, and giving you the information whenever we get it. And what I used RNN for all weekend long is exactly what our intentions have always been, right?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, I was working all day in the shop on Saturday. I was doing stuff. I was doing this. I was doing that. I said, you know what? Let me look quick and see what's going on at Epic. Went to Facebook, typed in RNN, hit it, and within an hour span of when I'm looking at it, you had a report as to what was going on.
Yeah, and the reports consisted of it's raining, they're drying. It's raining, they're drying.
Exactly.
Raining, they're drying.
Yeah. Well, they're going to offer your money back. They're going to postpone it till the next day. It's, and you updated even being at the track on Friday. not just sitting there enjoying the racing and chilling out. You're updating like crazy, even being at the track. I mean, I don't know what more people could ask for. I really
Right.
don't. And honestly, I don't care. If you want more, go find another page that'll give you more. I don't really care. Getting cranky in my old age.
That's all right. I'm still older than you, so I get more cranky.
You always will be, pal.
But so to leave all that, like I said, we're gonna this is it for that.
It's over, it's done, whatever. Yep.
Done, over with. If you don't like it, have a nice day.
Right.
Leave it at that. The divisional portion of the weekend will be run at New England Dragway in August at the divisional event.
Divisional, right.
How the hell are they gonna do it, man? With only like one round done, part of one round done. That's gonna be. I might actually have to go for the whole weekend just to see that.
Honestly, again, it depends on weather. But we've been up at Epping where they've run the sports nationals and the divisional in the same weekend.
That was during COVID, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been like just coming out of COVID, but every year for the last couple of years, they run an open and a divisional at Numidia.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, it's tough on the track employees. Running 2 events in one weekend is not easy. I mean, they've done it for years at Maple Grove too. They used to do it for years at Maple Grove, where they did an open and a divisional. But it's the problem with that is it's a safer bet in August because it's not a rainy season. But when you have 2 events scheduled for 4 days, if the weather even thinks about spitting, it makes it a nightmare.
Right.
And then the other thing you really have to take into consideration is August is freaking hot. And you got the track personnel that's going to be out there busting their hump for 4 days in a row. It's not going to be easy on them. So, one thing that I will say, guys, is if you're going to go to this event and they're going to run 2 races and it's going to be in August, pick up an extra 6-pack of water and hand it out to these guys. If a third of the people coming to the track do that, these guys will be hydrated and safe for the whole event.
Right.
Buy some friggin' popsicles and give them to them at the end of the day or something. These guys, they don't make a lot of money and they work freaking hard, a lot harder than I want to work. So,
Yep. I mean, most of the people from Division 1 that were at Epping left there and went, like we know. Our buddy Steve, he was there. People were calling him and texting him and messaging him. Can you run my generator and my rig for a little bit?
I did see that. That was pretty cool.
Doing what, like I said, I've never seen what they do to set up before a divisional. I imagine it's, paperwork and prepping the track.
Listen, this is even though this event got rained out, this was the schedule anyway. The only difference is they got started a day later.
Yeah.
Because they hung out at Epping hoping to get it in for Monday.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is their schedule and this is what they do. And I've heard from a couple of people what they make. And I think if everyone knew what they made and the amount of effort that they put into it, they would be very surprised. And then hopefully they would realize that they do it more for the love of the sport and the love of us, than they do to actually, make a living doing it.
They are there to keep you guys safe.
Exactly. That's absolutely.
We've talked to a couple people that are on the safety safari on here, and the one thing that they always say is, whatever, I make $5 an hour or something, but
Right.
I don't care because, I'm out there using my skills, keep you guys safe.
And
something happens, they're there.
here's another thing that's always consistent with the safety safari. Every time someone gets into an accident, they constantly always say, These guys were right there. They were right on the spot. I'd be in a lot deeper crap if they didn't get there as quick as they can, right? Have you ever heard anyone say safety safari sucked? You know, my shit burnt down, and if they got there sooner, it would have been fine. I have never heard a complaint. I've heard complaints of safety crews at backwoods tracks, right? It makes us all realize how grateful we are. I mean, even the week to week, I obviously don't weekly race up at New Hampshire or ACO or whatever, but whenever anyone gets into an accident, the very first thing they always say is, thank God for the safety equipment, it kept me safe. And thank God for the safety safari. They were right there when I needed it. And, you know, these people probably have the lowest income for responsibility out of anyone I've ever seen in my life. And they do it, like I said, they don't do it to make a living. They do it to protect us because they care about us. And they do it to protect the sport that they love. So hats off to all of them.
Absolutely. So like I said, it's going to be in August at the divisional at New England. They'll wrap up the sportsman side of it, and then I assume they'll do that first, and then they'll do the regular event second.
I'm sure it kind of like at Bristol, right? They're going to do the Epping race first, and they'll do the Bristol race.
And they'll do the regular.
I'm sure it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. So divisional race, Lebanon Valley.
Yes.
Coming up this weekend. First thing I do have to say was I saw the pictures and I saw the video the other night. They have a rotator.
I saw that. That's pretty badass, isn't it?
Retired. I believe it said it was the only hydraulic powered rotator in the country.
Pretty impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, never hurts my feelings to hear people talk and say good things about Lebanon Valley. That's for sure.
Yeah. A small track, kind of a throwback track, is stepping up their game, and that is awesome.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to Howie and to obviously Wayne.
Yep.
Who's a good friend of our show.
Yep.
And we have a lot of fun with him. But big congratulations to them for stepping up with something like that and the improvements over the last few years.
Yep. Good stuff. Yeah, so, I almost want to get a job at the track, so just so I can
to drive the rotator.
I think it's cool.
So everybody save your cast off tires and give them to the track.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I'm sure they're probably 16-inch tires. Of course, I only run 15, so that wouldn't work. But yeah, it's that's a pretty big deal for them.
Yep. So they have that. Like I said, we have the divisional coming up. It's always a for the door car section and the dragsters. It's usually, since I've gotten back into it, a very well attended event.
Yep.
The alcohol cars, little, hit or miss, I guess, really.
It's the dragsters, of course, I think the same could probably be said for the whole country, but dragsters usually have a stronger showing than the funny cars, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not a it's funny because they don't have a ton of people show up, but the people that show up for the alcohol classes are quality, and a lot of them are local favorites that we all love to watch race. So what you lack in quantity, they make up for in quality. So it's pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of them.
Yep. For anybody who couldn't see that, that's Accelerated Travel, aka Jackie Frick, who hooked me up with my hotel room for the weekend. So thank you, Jackie. Had to get that in. But yeah, so I mean that is one of my favorite tracks to go to, plain and simple. I enjoy the drive out there. I enjoy going to the facility. It's a throwback. It really is. I mean, it's modernizing, but it's also a throwback in the same breath.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So like I said, and we also have the guessing game. Got to get your guesses in by Friday.
Yep.
At midnight. So I want to break the record last time was 78 guesses. I wanna break that. We're kind of close. But I will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Giving everybody updates, weather-wise, racing-wise, pictures, videos, everything that I can do. Also, obviously, for those that don't know, Zubel is in the hospital. Hope everything is going well for Sue.
Yeah, prayers for her.
She got her breathing tube out the other day, I saw. So I don't know who's gonna be in the office. I don't know, maybe Dan will who knows?
Right. I'm sure everything else at Lebanon Valley, it'll be a community effort. People will chip in.
Absolutely. So yeah, Friday night for alcohol qualifying, starting at 5 o'clock. Spectator admission is for the grand price of free.
Wow. Very
Yep. So like I said, it's for alcohol and it's spectators only is free. So it's gonna be a lot of fun and they're gonna have jet cars there. I believe it was First Strike and whatever the team car is to Al Hannah's other jet funny car.
Usually they have a pretty good fireworks show too, though. Don't know if they're going to do it this year or not. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I will tell you that when they do have the fireworks show, it's pretty impressive.
Cool. What do they shoot them off from, the dirt track?
They shoot them off from the side of it between the track and the brook.
Oh, okay.
So by the scoreboard on across from the dirt track.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
dirt track, our track, fireworks.
Cool. So like I said, I'll be there all weekend, rain or shine, and obviously hope for shine, but whatever it is whatever it is.
Yep.
And I'll have qualifying sheets up as long as they're available, and pictures, video, everything. And like I said, I always enjoy going out there. You know, Epping is 45 minutes, but in Lebanon Valley is 3 hours. But it's just something about that facility that I really, really enjoy
It's
it.
fun. You get a lot more of that home track feel there.
Yeah. So, and obviously I'll be bugging him and hiding from his wife so she doesn't beat me up. She threatened to beat me up last year if I took her picture.
Yeah, she does that. She gets camera cranky.
So what do you got left to do to the hot rod?
Basically just some wiring and putting a new pair of slicks on the back, and I'm done.
Cool.
Everything in the engine compartment, I just finished up. All the plumbing, all the wiring, all that stuff. I gotta hook up drive shaft sensor, trans temp sensor, and then I gotta do some ignition stuff on the inside of the car, neaten up some wiring harnesses, and then I just gotta program the fuel tech and get that all working the way it's supposed to. So
My curiosity about the transmission sensor is that because I've worked on heavy equipment setting up like the CompuSpread systems for the hydraulic spreaders.
yeah.
Is it the same idea that you have that little bung on the tail shaft of the transmission in your car?
Well, when I say transmission sensor, it's a temperature sensor.
Oh, okay.
It's not
It's
in
like a drive shaft speed.
right. And my drive shaft sensor is a magnetic collar on the rear end yoke, and a sensor that reads the magnet go by.
Gotcha. All right, cool.
So
Well, looking forward to it. Said I'll be hanging out with Pete and Tina Olszewski, Jasmine Weeder, and actually I got to give a couple of thank yous. I picked up a NHRA expired full face Sparco helmet, and Jazz is actually going to paint it and airbrush it for me. She's gonna told her just do whatever you think looks cool on it.
oh, it's pretty badass. Good.
Yeah. And Tina, she has my backpack and stuff. She brought it from New England. She's gonna take it to Lebanon Valley, and her and her husband kind of let me take up a little bit of space in their trailer this past weekend to get out of the sun on Friday and plug my card in. Lauren Coltrera Lowe, always my buddy. Of course, the Coltrera family, Eastern VP Race Fuels. Want to thank them for letting me kind of hide in the trailer again when I needed a break from the sun.
Yep.
And got a chance to talk face to face with one of our previous guests, also Manny Bajinga. So he actually recognized me, which I thought was pretty cool.
You got a face nobody can forget.
I do it. You know what it is?
No, but that's cool that, I mean, you got someone that's running NHRA Pro Mod that recognizes you and makes it a point to say hi to you. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and he is, for anybody who's planning on going to NPK at New England, he is planning on being there and running his small tire car, which I honestly can't tell you which one it is because I don't watch NPK at all. I don't know. Is that the Mustang?
I believe so. I believe
is that Fred?
It's Fred. I think it's Fred.
Okay.
I can't swear to that, but I think Fred is a small tire car.
Okay.
I actually think Fred is both. I think he goes back and forth with it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, he said he's planning on his plan is to be at NPK at New England. Obviously, if anything comes up, you can check his Facebook page because they're real good about updating it.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna be there too. Getting my ass handed to me on a silver platter, but I don't really care.
Yeah, you get to go hang out and rub elbows with the
the only class my car would fit in is the unlimited class, which basically means I'm bringing a slingshot to a nuclear war fight. Hey, whatever. I'll be there. I'll be having fun. I've spent money on stupider things, so it's something that I always wanted to check out. And for what they charge for entry of the race car and to leave your motorhome and car trailer in the pits, and obviously you have your golf cart so that you can tool around and all that stuff. To me, it was a very easy decision to make.
Yeah, you said it was. I mean, in all reality, very reasonably priced.
So it was $100 to get my car in, to race my car, and it was $60 to get the rig in there for the whole weekend. So for $160, I'm racing, and I have my motorhome and trailer and golf cart in the pits all weekend. So, yeah, I can't complain about that.
Awesome. Well, listen, everybody, like I said, we will be at Lebanon Valley along with all our friends and frenemies and whatever else happens to be there. Friday night, like I said, starting at 5 o'clock, free admission for spectators. They're going to have jet cars, possibly fireworks. Who knows? We don't know for a fact, but anything is possible. You never know. Wayne might have that planned and just not want to tell anybody.
Yeah, he might have a couple of sparklers set aside for us or something.
Yeah, he'll go run around. Woo!
If they don't have fireworks, he's going to make me get on top of the tower with a lighter and just like hold it up or something. Yeah, exactly, like a concert.
We'll get Roman candles and duct tape them to the seat on my buzz around, and I'll drive around.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So next Tuesday, we are going from no race results to a shit ton of race results. So
yeah, we'll have results from 47 national events all in one weekend.
National events and a divisional.
And actually, I scheduled our guest for next week. Yesterday he contacted me, wanted to know if he could come on again. Denny Parison from Race for the House, the Ronald McDonald House charity.
Excellent. Yep.
The event he does at Maple Grove is coming up June 17th, I think it is. He will be joining us next Tuesday evening, as we'll ask him a question, he can think about it, we'll read some results. We'll ask him another question, he can think about it, we'll read some more results. Like I said, if you're heading to Lebanon Valley, you can find me with Pete and Pete with me and come over, say hi to us. If you've never met either of us, trust us, we don't bite. We do get our rabies shots.
Yep,
So and Pete got his TB test, so he's good.
I'm good.
All right, Pedro, get back to work. Get the hot rod ready to roll.
Off I go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is how we do Racers News Network Live.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, checking us out. We will be back next Tuesday night with all the results from this coming weekend. And our guest will be Denny Parison from Race for the House for the Ronald McDonald Charities in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He has a huge event at Maple Grove. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's June 17th. So tune in, check us out next Tuesday night, starting at 7 o'clock. Hope everybody that was new that messaged me about how do we watch enjoyed yourself. We have a good time doing this. Like I said, it's not about us, it's about the racing and the racers. So thank you all very much. Hope you have a great night.